Hello, I am Randall P. McMurphy. I am a gambling fool, and I have just ended up here in the Institute of Psychology. They're basically a bunch of loonies. Randall is I think in the Dickensian way, you would call him a ne'er-do-well. But the thing is, he's actually a lovely guy with a great moral compass. He likes to use his fists. He does get in fights. He's a red-blooded bloke. And even though he's got into trouble with the law and ends up on the wrong side of the official law, I think, like I say, his moral compass and the law of good and bad and what is right and what is wrong, he's actually very much on the right side of things in that respect.
What are they going to strap down for? I don't like that. No, sir, that's his name. Yeah.
Our relationship with Nurse Ratchet, we've literally just come from rehearsal where we were doing the scene where they first meet.
I'll take that. Abe Williams tells me you are being difficult.
Me?
I understand you refuse to take your admission shower?
I think that they get each other's number pretty quickly, which is kind of what we've been discovering in rehearsal. It takes them about 15 seconds to go, right. Because I'm thinking of her, your authority personified, and she's going, and your anarchy personified. You are my enemy, you are my enemy. So they square off straight away.
Howdy, buddy. R.P. McMurphy.
Got any cigarettes?
Oh, nothing but. Hey, get it!
He realizes that he is a strong person, both physically, mentally, psychologically, all of that. And he does see a bunch of people who are weaker than him in most respects, and yet there's this caring side that immediately kicks in, and over the course of the play, of course, he cares about them more and more and realizes that they're in a tough position and that this institute isn't really giving them the help they need, and that I don't think he consciously goes, I can help them. I think that's the thing, he just switches gear and goes into help mode. What he thinks is going to help them, he does the work of a therapist without realizing it. What's going to keep me sane over these next few weeks? I tell you what, working at the Leicester Curve is one of them because it is an extraordinarily big rehearsal room and I love that. And being a new building, we've got lots of great facilities. You've got your dressing rooms, your kitchen, your cafe, everything. It's all here. So, and it's big and spacious, and that really does help.
My character Scanlon is severely paranoid. He's probably ex-army, and this is a Cold War period, so he is convinced that, as a lot of people were, and could have been right, that the world was going to be blown to smithereens.
Careful! What's that to mean? It's a bomb!
The rehearsal period is intense, but it's been very enjoyable. It's fun being mad for a little while, as long as you can step back out of it.
My name is Paul Joseph and I play RUCKLEY. He's one of the patients. RUCKLEY came in as one of the acutes. The patients are split into acutes and chronics.
On this side of the room we are the acutes.
And what's acute about you?
That means we are presumably curable, and there are the chronics. A walker and vegetable.
So I came in as an acute, like what McMurphy does, and then because I was naughty when I was inside, they did a few operations on me and gave me a lot of electroshock treatment, and then, so now I'm a chronic.
Pull the nails out.
Sure.
Secondly, as it is, we all get on really well. So they've been keeping me sane. We're all having a really good laugh and we see each other during the days, on the nights and at the weekends.
My name is Thomas Renshaw and I'm playing Chief BROMDEN. At the beginning of the story, he is, or seen to be, catatonic. He's deaf and dumb. But it turns out this is a way of him hiding from what he calls the Combine. I am here, Papa, to hide from the Combine. This can get me out there. And I'm safe in here. It's actually his story. This is the asylum itself is from the Chief's perspective, from the novel. That's what it's taken from. And so Chief acts as almost as a narrator. The way they do it, Papa. Each night, they tip the world on its side, and everybody loose goes rattling to the bottom. Working with Michael Buford is great. It's different. I don't think I've never really worked with an actor director before, and he's so relaxed. He kind of lets you get on with it. I love the way that he just lets the rehearsal room flow, and then we'll go around and just kind of whisper in each people's ear, just kind of just try this, and then you listen to it and you'll watch something, it'll just completely transform.
I'm Rebecca Bainbridge and I play Nurse Flynn, and I also play Sandra. As Nurse Flynn, I am Nurse Ratchet's assistant, so I'm basically at her beck and call all the time. I think I'm quite scared of Nurse Ratchet. I don't believe Nurse Flynn's worked on the ward for very long. I think she's quite taken aback by the intensity of all the patients there. She keeps herself to herself. She's very Catholic. She goes to midnight mass every single night. She's usually late.
I'm sorry I'm late, but I went to midnight mass and then I overslept tonight.
Never mind. We best just get started, haven't we?
Well, as Sandra doesn't appear to the last scene of the play, really, for the party scene. I think Sandra knows McMurphy very well. Maybe in the biblical sense. She's a good time girl, she's been brought in to get the party started, but I think Michael and I have decided that Sandra and McMurphy, they're each other's favourites, and they'll go out of their ways to see each other.
My name is Sydney Smith and I'm playing Aid Williams.
Oh yeah! Start sleeping, baby!
My relationship to Nurse Ratchet is akin to helpers, or imagine Dobermans on the lead, myself and Warren. So we kind of are her dogs or her guards, and we just make sure everything runs pretty smoothly. And in the book, the aides have worked so much with Nurse Ratchet that she doesn't even have to say or mention a job to do, or as soon as they notice something is out of place, they'll just fix it, because they kind of have started to work on a very, very similar, if not the same, wavelength as Nurse Ratchet, and that's why she in the book has employed them, because they've got the required amount of hate.
Now say anything, boy! You give me a minute to look when you home over here. I've never been in an institute of psychology before.
On the ward, in the book, it says that there are fewer aides in that ward than any other ward. So when I come in to obviously give him his shower, I feel slightly outnumbered or overwhelmed by the sheer size of him, because usually when inmates come in, they kind of just been diagnosed as being crazy, so they, generally quite freaked out, skirt the edge of the walls, and he just comes blazing in. So I think it's a big shock, because he's big, because he seems really with it, and he's not afraid. So I think my character is, when we first meet on stage, he's absolutely terrified.
All right, Fred, all right. You asking for it.
What's going to keep me sane in the next 4 weeks will be the Exchange pub. The knowledge that I'll be going there after every single rehearsal just keeps me on a level.
I'm Jonathan Taffler. I'm playing Dr. Spivey, who ostensibly runs the hospital, but actually is as scared of Nurse Ratchet as everybody is. So in the form of things she defers to him, actually is double terrified of her, and does more or less everything that she asks. However, at a certain point, the mouse does roar, and he decides he's had enough. But in the end, I think she probably wins out. The Curve is the most wonderful place to come to from walking in on the first day, because the building is extraordinarily impressive, and Michael's great to work for. He believes in tea breaks, which actors like, but this is unknown in my experience. He sometimes calls a tea break and nobody moves. Everyone stays to talk about the scene that we've just done, and actors like their tea breaks. That just doesn't happen. So it's a good spirit and we're enjoying it.